criticizing me on, including the
All right, well, go
background.
ahead and hit the live button.
We've been live for 10 seconds.
10
now.
seconds.
We're waiting for you to
Woo!
intro.
Hey, brother, we are dogging it today. Welcome to this episode of Dogging It. Joey Ryan here, joined by Melina Mike and Mike Panozzo from Billiards Digest. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We got a lot of ground to cover. In fact, we were going to do one thing, and then we get in this studio here, and Melina's like, oh, I want to do these 6 other things. Of course, he doesn't have a plan. He just wants to throw it out there. So we're going to talk about some of the current events going on, and let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. Thanks, Corn Pop. Appreciate that. Let's start off talking about the Matchroom ranking event that occurred in Massachusetts. Billy Thorpe takes that one down. How good is it to see Billy Thorpe back in the winner's circle, guys?
It's great. I mean, it's just good to know that it's good to think that he's back in there taking it seriously because, let's face it, watching him last year there were a lot of tough matches to watch with him. But it does seem like now he's refocused and he's resetting on pool and getting points and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully we'll see if it plays out through the rest of the year, but hopefully this will get him, motivated to be even more dedicated to making the chase at this point.
So for those of you who don't know, it was the Amazing Billiards event and Matchroom ranking event out in, I think, the Boston area, if I'm not mistaken.
Boston, where you park your car.
Yeah, lots of top players who were there, including Jonas, Moritz, Wolford. Let me see here. Delgado, Oscar. Let's see. Josh Roberts. Yeah, real solid field. Sky was there. To see Billy back in the winner's circle playing 9-ball with that kind of field, it was pretty surprising. We had, like Mike said, we hadn't seen him go deep and snap anything off like this in quite a while. Obviously, he's got a lot of fans here in the States, and he's always going to be someone that you want to root for because of his energy, his personality, his positivity. But his game has kind of taken a back seat, it seems like, over the last few years, I'd say, to say the least. But I tell you what, to get a win there, maybe it's a blip in the radar. But then you follow that up with a solid one-pocket win with some great players as well out at the Midwest Open. I tell you what, and this happens quite a bit. We've all seen it. Once you get that first one, the wheels can kind of come off in a positive way where you can start, going deep and winning some decent events and start, getting back in rhythm and getting back behind your cue.
Yeah, it's kind of like the wheels get put back on. And, I think that in order for the U.S. to be successful in any international events like the Mosconi Cup, we need Billy Thorpe. I mean, we've seen that over the years. When Billy's playing well and energized, he just lifts up the whole team. Kind of the opposite experience of what we saw with Earl this year, where it seemed like he was a little bit of a drain on Team USA. Billy just energized it. Even from the sidelines last year, Billy was, in the overalls and energizing the team. It was pretty exciting to see. So I tell you what, I'm not a fan of dress codes in pool. You guys know that, but I am a fan of dress codes on players standing near Mosconi Cup wearing overalls. We got to cut that out, okay? But I want to see Billy back in a collared shirt.
If he was wearing a suit with 9 beers in his hand, that would be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And he had like the ammo bag coming across his chest with nothing but Bud Lights.
He looked like a bandito.
So we got a lot of people who've jumped on. We appreciate you guys. Shorty Dancer, we see you. Nick Miller, I feel bad for him. He's like, man, I finally caught the beginning of the live show. What a mess this one was. We were a little disorganized. But thanks, guys, for joining. We really appreciate it. Just to let you know, you guys have seen we reset the screen. So, the sponsorship period ended for the folks that supported us going out to Vegas. Huge thanks to those guys. But if you guys, anybody wants to sponsor, reach out, let us know. Also, if you want to support us, if you like what we do, head on over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/dogginit. And you can support us there. So Billy takes down the Matchroom event and then follows up on that. There we go, Patreon. Follows up on that with taking down the one pocket event at the Midwest Open at Michael's in Ohio. The guy's on a roll. I sent him a message. I said, you're on a roll, Billy, man, keep it going. He's like, yeah, thanks. So I'm just excited to see that he's doing it in different disciplines now. And I just wish him continued success. So
Did you get Billy to commit to come on the show?
not yet. We're
That's the
working on
main thing.
that.
I
Let me see if he
literally
replied yet. I don't think he
I've
replied yet.
I've given Joey one responsibility
I have one job.
as far as getting a guest in like 3+
And he gave
months.
you one job, Mike, and the best you come up with is blue bubbles.
Hey,
Hey, listen, this has been a staple, and this has been a staple in the Doggin and background scene for quite a while. You know,
yeah.
No, the
Well,
one
hey,
thing I would add about Billy is that, I think, and someone chimed in there, confidence is king, is that, what I'm happiest about him winning is that that's the instant motivator to, like, oh, okay, if I work hard, I can keep this up, right? So now, that's the incentive to say, okay, I'm getting my stroke back. So hopefully this will translate into, a good solid run for him over the next couple of months.
yeah,
well,
I think
do you think it will?
I
Do I
do.
think? Well, I don't know. I don't know what events he's locked into going to. I don't know if he's going to the UK Open.
Well,
I don't
he's
know.
in the thick of Mosconi Cup ranking points now. I think he's
Yeah.
within that top 3. So, and especially with the prize funds being elevated, and just because of how much people get behind him, I'd be shocked if we didn't see him play the full schedule of at least majors, if nothing else.
Well, I mean, you look at it another way. There's another tournament, Bob Stocks, right, in April, which is going to be an event, a
First
ranking
break,
event,
Northern Virginia. Yep.
right? Okay, so is Billy better going there or to the UK Open if he's looking for matchroom points?
Well, prize money. It's all about prize money, right? So, I
It
mean,
is.
I'd have to
It
say the
is,
UK
but
Open.
the UK Open, if he goes to Bob Stock, where does he figure to finish, right? And what's the prize fund? What's the prize money for fourth place? Okay, and
Dang, that's an interesting dilemma,
what's the
Panozzo.
equivalent? What's the equivalent of that at the UK Open? It might
Yeah.
be 12th to 16th. Is
Final
Billy a
16,
12 to
yeah.
16?
Yeah.
Is Billy a final 16 guy at the UK Open? So it's interesting. You're going to see guys starting to look at some of these things this way. I think.
Yeah, and then travel costs factoring in too.
100%.
I mean, obviously that's in some ways short-sighted, but it's real life. They
And
have to put out the money to get to these things.
if whether or not Federer's going to be there, that's it. That's the other
Yeah,
side
right.
of it.
You mean at the Bob Stock? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the way this played
'Cause
out in
he's a
Massachusetts
local
was
boy now.
the way Massachusetts played out for Billy was great, right? Because he beat Sky in the finals, so it's not like he beat another one that's not in the top 3, right? So if he would have played, someone like Nick De Leon or somebody else who's out there accruing points, then he's not making that separation. But since he beat Sky, he's clearly in third place now, and I think in the driver's seat for securing that spot. So early in the year, of course.
Yeah, it's early in the year.
Oh, that's terrible, Mike. Get that out of there.
Oh man, come on! I'm playing around with some stuff here, man.
Yeah,
Give me a break.
who put you in charge of technology? That's the
Give me a
first
break,
mistake.
man. I'm just trying to mess around here a little bit.
All right. Any comments about the one pocket
Well,
tournament, Mike? What's that mean?
hold on. I want to just circle back here and just finish up on this Billy thing because I think
Okay.
like he's well within the driver's seat now to do pretty well. He's got at least a good footprint. They originally it was supposed to be 2 years rolling. Then, it seemed like last week they decided, hey, we're only going to go with a 1-year ranking instead. So it really just opens up the gates for everyone to really attend as many events as they can. Now, especially for the Americans, you would feel like more of the regional events are gonna have more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like have more of a return for them, right? Because they're more acclimated to those conditions. They'd be a little bit more of a favorite. And let's face it, I mean, the reality is in that field, I don't think Billy was a top, 4 favorite in that field, so that's a huge win. And more importantly, like Corn Pop said, it's about confidence, right? You got guys like Sky and Josh Roberts and Oscar and the Spaniards there. You're going to have a lot of confidence playing 9-ball with anybody now. So he's got a really big opportunity. People always love seeing Billy play. You don't know what you're going to get sometimes, but if he can get his gear back, look out because he's an exciting player to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did not reply to, or he didn't see my message yet. So that's potentially good news. So
Well, that's good. He didn't leave you on red, at least.
He didn't leave me on red, so we got a chance to get him on here.
Yeah, listen. We'll take wins anywhere we can get them here at Doggin It. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, back to I've tried to talk about this 3 times now. So let's see if we can get some traction on this. He wins the one pocket event at the Midwest Open right after this. And it's always good, even though it's a completely different discipline. I saw one of the comments here said that the one pocket event was on 4.5-inch pockets. But still, when you're putting back-to-back wins together, I think that's something that can really boost his confidence and have him feeling good, getting into this season.
So
So
a win can boost your confidence, is what you're saying, Joe.
what? You're saying I went out on a limb there?
I'm just needing to clarify for my own notes for the show. A win can get you confidence.
It's so funny because when you mentioned earlier that a commenter said that confidence is key, I posted a video from 14 years ago. Did you see that yesterday, Melina?
I did, yeah.
14 years ago when I was playing at the Super Billiards Expo, and I was playing the best pool, I think, of my life.
That was great.
But my form was terrible. My form was awful. I was like, my arms going up and down and up and down. And I'm like, I have such better form now, but I have no confidence. And so my results are not nearly as good. And it's almost better to have the confidence. It is better to have the confidence, even if your stroke's out of whack, even if you don't have the mechanics down. And so that confidence is king. I believe that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Now that we got a Joey won the Super Billiards Expo story, we can end the show.
I didn't win it.
We can't. Yeah,
he won that. He won a set in that match. He actually lost that match, right?
Well, there's a lot of parallels, Joey.
That was
you and Billy
Mike
because
Shane behind you, right?
What's that?
That was Mike.
I believe it was. Yeah, I believe they were. So I don't think that was
your elbow. You had to avoid his head when you're shooting.
Mike's coming with the shots today.
Coming out the gate. No,
but there's a lot of parallels though, Joey. You talk about your mechanics in that video. Billy's not known to have the best form, right? It's very unconventional.
Don't compare me to Billy Thorpe as a pool player, okay? Give me a break.
I'm just saying.
You look good in overalls, Joey.
Yeah, thanks. Well,
hey, there you go. There's a Halloween costume idea.
Overalls and no shirt.
That's never going to happen. So, but let's move on. Let's move on because you guys are starting to pick on me too much. They had the Balkan event first time.
Friday.
Matchroom has a ranking event, the Balkan Open or whatever they called it. I think it was in where was it? It was in Bosnia. Niels Feyen wins that event. I think he beat Sanjin in the finals of that event. Yeah. So, what about Niels? You think Niels can make a run at the Mosconi?
100%. He was close last year. He was not that far out of the points last year.
Come on, Mike.
No, what he was. You want to look at last year's ranking and see where he was relative to the guys, your buddy Max and some of those guys?
Oh, Mike's coming. Mike's taking the gloves off today. Okay, let's hear it.
If you're going to say, come on, Mike.
Okay, here's the deal. Let me ask you a question because as you get older, your ability to get there, right, or to have opportunities to get there is going to get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer.
Talking about me or Niels?
Well, flip the coin, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a great win. It's a great win, but whether or not he can continue that consistency throughout majors, I think there's going to be a little bit more questions. I mean, listen, the last time we saw Niels on a Mosconi Cup, it wasn't the prettiest of sights. Let's just be real.
Wow.
It wasn't great.
When you're looking at,
it was terrible, Mike.
Look, when you're looking at a U.S. player getting hot and saying, hey, they got a shot now to make the Mosconi Cup, a completely different story when you're looking at a European. Right, because you have to leapfrog a number of the best players in the world to get into that top 3. Could he be a wild card selection? Sure, he brings a lot to the team. Right, great player, great experience.
He was considered for a wild card spot last year. I don't think a lot of people knew that, but he was.
Consideration. He was in the top 10.
He legitimately was considered.
I think he was about 6th or 7th last year in the European rankings when Mosconi Cup came around. So he's got the points. He's got the finishes. One of the things this year, though, I'm going to be really interested to see what happens at the UK Open because I believe that runs over the European Championships, and the European Championships are worth a lot to Niels in terms of national funding. If he wins a medal in any of the European Championship disciplines, he gets funding for the next year from the National Federation, and that's always been a big target on his annual goals. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he chooses the European Open over the UK Open.
Well, yeah, but the European Championships, they last like 4.5 months. I mean, they're
Yeah,
so
no, it's a
long.
long. It's
It's
10 it's 10 days, and all you
it's
get for being there for 10 days is a bouquet of flowers and a medal.
it's so
There's
long,
no
man.
prize money.
Yeah.
But it's where those guys go to earn. That's one of those leverage pieces that the EPBF holds over its players, is that those national federations, if you want funding, you got to play in those European events.
Well, I'm sure if we had Niels on right now, he would say that he's interested in playing the Mosconi Cup again. Uh,
$1,000,000% he would.
but I'm wondering, just how interested, because he's got the training, the stuff he's doing with the training, the YouTube stuff
Right.
like that.
He missed tournaments last year.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
skipped
So
tournaments last year,
he's
and
at a he's at a different place in his career
yeah,
than some of these younger guys, the
right.
FSRs and the people that are really breaking on the scene in Europe. So I mean, we'll see. It's a good point, Pinozo. I never thought about it like that. But if I were him, I'd obviously go to the tournament where you can make money. But looking at it longer term, obviously that's going to have an
The
impact if he
European
goes to
makes
the
money for
European.
him. The European might get him
Yeah,
30, 40, $50,000 to
for
make
the
all those
following
trips
year.
for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good
when
point.
when we had Darren on, one of the guys who we had to make a video for Darren was Niels, and in that video, if you remember, he said, "Hey, listen,
Mhm.
we're not done yet. Me and you are still going after a Mosconi Cup spot." And I
Right.
believe that with Niels. I
Yeah,
feel like that's really important to him. A
it
lot
is
of people
important.
have him on deck along with Darren to be one of the guys announced to be the European Mosconi Cup coach. And I think that one of the reasons why he won't be is because he still wants to actively compete and contend for one of those 5 spots. He
Yeah,
feels like
sure.
his days as a top European player are not done, and this event could say that he's right.
What
And
about what about player coach? Could he be a player coach? Are those
a
days
thousand
done?
percent. People, oh no, I mean, people respect Niels from a coaching
I
standpoint for
don't
sure. I
know.
Let me
mean,
I don't know
say
if they would allow a player coach
let me ask you
anymore.
this. Let's say they did, and let's say Niels was chosen as captain, and he pulled his number for the 5th pick. How do you think that'd be received by the pool world?
Well, I mean, I
ugh.
guess if you're talking about making money, he would get captain's money and players' money, right?
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. He like
Judge,
pulling the handle on
I
that
don't
one.
think Matchroom would allow that. Do you think,
No,
guys?
of
No,
course
I
not.
don't think so either. Yeah.
All right.
I think it would probably be said that if you're gonna accept the spot as a captain, then you're off the table when it comes to being a player.
Yeah,
Plus, imagine, I mean, you would never be able to, like, unless you were seriously, you know, in talks of being that 6th or 7th guy. I mean, you would get just creamed online, with guys just talking a bunch of smack.
Well,
Like,
it
you'd
would
have to
show a
really
lot of
be playing
confidence.
sharp,
Yeah,
especially on the European.
it would show a lot of confidence in yourself, right? That you chose yourself and you knew you were going to get blasted for it with every mistake that you made, So, well, interesting discussion.
I like that. I like the
Congratulations
way
to
you're thinking though,
Niels.
Joey. I like the way you're
yeah,
thinking. Right, double dip it. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
yes,
Double dip,
100%.
get
baby.
get
There you
get it
go.
while you can. Right.
Hey, it's
Not
tough
gonna
being a
last
pool
forever.
player. You got to do what you got to do,
Hey,
Right.
all right,
He
Uh,
listen.
picks
Yeah.
himself over Jason. That would be perfect.
so there was
Okay, let me.
another
Who do you think's going to be off the team that was on this last year? If you were
from
going to
Europe,
say from
David.
Europe,
David.
David, 100%.
I mean, look, David's got the talent to earn it, right? He can get out there and win some big events
But
or,
if he
or
doesn't
finish
earn it,
deep.
he's not getting that.
I I don't know how we can say that though, right now. I mean, he's the most
Just
likely candidate to not be selected as a wild card,
yeah.
but we don't even know who the captain's going to be.
I mean, listen, we've seen years where guys come out of the woodwork to win. I don't see Francisco falling off the map anytime soon, but
Nope.
someone's gonna make a move. You look at a guy like Sanjin who was in a final against Niels, right? I've been talking about his trajectory over the last 2 years. Could he make a wave and snap off a major? I think he could go pretty deep, and you can see
Victor's
what he's
Victor's
made
right
of.
outside the top four. He's not far off that a guaranteed spot.
I think Victor. I would love to see Victor play in a Mosconi Cup,
Yep.
and especially if they're going to be doing more stuff out in Poland, even more reason to have him make a Mosconi
Yeah.
Cup team.
Yeah,
Yep.
Robbie here in the comments says Kachi, will he be back on? I mean, he made a big statement with the 10 ball, but I think he's got to perform in 9 ball
They don't.
Yeah,
events.
he's got
They
to.
don't. They
I
don't
think
know what
he's.
10 ball is
I
out
don't think he's
in
going
the
to
UK.
have to earn a spot. The guy who's going to have to earn a spot, I think, is Alvin.
You
You
think
know,
even with all of his Mosconi Cup success?
yes,
Oh,
I
I
don't think
think every year in Europe,
Alvin was almost an afterthought last year.
I
Yeah, but
think
he was also an automatic pick. Like, everyone knew that he was going to get on the last 2 years as
Well,
well
yeah,
because
well,
look,
he earned it
how
he earned it
clutch
by
he is.
points. He earned it by
No,
points. This year, I
but
think he's got to earn it by points to get on
but
because Jason's going to
he's
be
so
on for
stable though,
sure.
Mike. He's so stable, and he can get you big points.
I need a button where I can just raise my hand so I can get a word in edgewise.
Go ahead,
But
Joe.
Joe, you have the floor.
if you're a European, you got to earn it every year. Okay, maybe the only exception to that is Jason Shaw, right? With what he brings to the team, but everybody else has to earn it every single year. It's no question.
Filler ain't got to earn. Filler could break his arm and sit out the next 6 months, and
Fall out of a tree.
he's still gonna be there this December.
Careful, Mike. People are going to take this and put it out of context and say Melina Mike's saying that he wants Filler to break his arm.
Oh yeah, they'll crop that out, right? Yeah.
All
Well,
All right.
right, let's move along. There's one other event we're going to discuss here: the WPBA event in Iowa. I think when that event started, I saw some posts, some really tough weather out there. It was cold and snowy and all kinds of stuff. But a lot of
In
the
Iowa,
top,
shocking.
yeah, a lot of the top. It's been the coldest winter I've ever seen in Arizona. I got to tell you,
well,
it's actually getting
look,
down to the 60s. Whew. But a lot
look
of
at
the
the
top
players who
women
were
out there.
there.
What's
Christina
that?
Tkach. Look at the players who were there. They're used to the cold. You had Christina Tkach. You got Christina Zlateva. You got Margaret Faflova. I mean, they're used to cold. That
Yeah.
was no big deal for them.
Yeah, and in this one, it comes down to the battle of the Fishers again, like the
Yeah.
timeless treasure, Kelly Fisher and Allison Fisher battling it out in the finals, and Kelly takes the title. How much longer is it going to be that we're going to see, these Fishers in the finals of WPBA events? I mean, how much longer can they sustain this consistency?
I like their chances in the next event.
That's a pretty great
No, I
response.
think that was a Joey comment. Sorry. I think that it's a really good question. I think beyond this year, I think you see those names that I just mentioned, Margaret, both Christinas, Wei Wei, players like that. They're still young and getting better, right? So I don't think, and they're in that third, fourth, fifth place right now every tournament, losing only to Kelly, losing only to Chow, whatever. That's going to change sooner than later. So I think next year you're going to see a couple of these women, starting to share the titles. That would be my prediction. It's not really out on a limb, but it's it answers your question, right?
What say you, Melina?
I mean, I think Mike makes a great point, and he's absolutely correct. Those are the ones that you think of as far as being the next woman up. Um, but what Allison and Kelly are doing is just remarkable.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
cool.
it's almost unheard of in sports, right? Because of just how long they've been doing it. I've been watching them play in championships for since I've been watching pool. And I started watching when I was 21. I'm 36 now. So well over 15 years, and just watching them contend and compete in international events. A lot of the talk in last year was wait till the Asian players get back. Well, a lot of them are back, and a lot of them are playing consistently, and yet they're still having results, right?
Yeah.
Um, as more start to come over, obviously it's going to be tougher for them, but it's like you can still take what they're able to do and say they're still going to be a top 5 favorite without a doubt, because I feel like outside of some of these Asian players, like let's say Shasha and some of these other girls come back, right? I would still put Kelly and Allison in that top 5 right now,
Sure.
right? Pressure doesn't get to them. Their abilities hasn't seemed to fallen off any. Hell, Allison was just in a final of a women's world championship that had everybody there,
Yeah.
right? Um, it's something special that people ought to just really appreciate, because it's so difficult to do in sports. What these two ladies are doing. Um, at some point, it's going to taper off some. That's just the laws of nature. But if I were to pick some out of one of that group of other girls that Mike mentioned, I mean, there's a ton of women to be optimistic about. Those
Yeah.
3 European ladies come to mind off the top of the head, but all of them seem to be sharp. They're not they've won European championships before, like Euro tours before within them. I know Margaret has and Christina has. I don't know if Slateva has, but she's got a ton of upside. You know, going and beating some of these top Asian players, they're knocking on the door. You know, in that 6 to 8 range, maybe 3 to 8 range. But we're gonna see them start to take steps sooner than later. I 100% feel that way. Like in that next step.
There's a few comments in here asking about Savannah Easton, and I believe she was in this event and did pretty well, won a few matches. What's a realistic, what is she, 11, 12 years old, I think?
13.
12 years old? 13
13.
now? 13? What's a realistic age where she could actually win one of these? What do you guys think?
We did a question of the day
16.
about Savannah, didn't we, Mike? I don't know if
Yeah.
it got posted or not, Joey.
Yeah.
That was your job.
Well, then no, it didn't, because nobody told me you did it.
Yeah, we did 2 questions of the days. Me and Mike did, and that was one of them, actually.
By the way,
think
question of the day, just so you guys
16
know.
is realistic.
Hold on. Question of the day, just so you guys know, on our Patreon, patreon.com/dogging it. We were doing it every single day. We missed a few days, but we're back to doing the question of the day now. So if you want to support us there, tune into our Patreon and you'll get our question of the day.
There you go.
Where we're just on there bantering about stuff. Sometimes we're even a little more, I guess, vivid and free about what we say on there.
Sometimes
So
Mike doesn't even wear a shirt. So really,
Yeah.
you're going to want to get some of those questions of the day, man. It's like,
Listen, we got to give the people what they pay for, right?
Pinoza, what was your response there? 15, 16?
16. I think 16. Because, part of it
What was the
is
question?
what age do you think she could realistically win one of these, like a Fairfield, Iowa event? I think, and part of the reason I say 16 is because I'm looking at those, 3-4 women we talked about a couple minutes ago, the Christinas, Margaret, but that's going to be a tough group in a couple of years to get to work your way past, right? So it's going to take her some time to jump that level. Those women are getting better and better. So I think 16. She could be getting into some semifinal matches, maybe a final.
And how old is she now, Mike?
13.
So you're saying within 3 years?
Man, you did the math fast, buddy.
All right, listen.
Well, she's playing a lot of pool. I think she's actually
in some coffee.
That's is that a concern, or is that something that's a tough pace to keep up for the next 3 years?
There's no reason to think she can't do that within 3 years. None whatsoever. Just in the last year, what she's able to accomplish in her game and the steps that she's taken to just make progress is shown just in her results and the consistency. Right.
When it becomes routine for her playing against Kelly Fisher, look out. Right?
It already is, though. I feel like it already is.
Not routine. Yeah, it's still probably a butterfly in your stomach moment playing Kelly Fisher when you're 13
Especially
years old.
if you're getting to like 6-7 games, then all of a sudden it starts, man.
Exactly.
Well, you still like any of these girls, you still got to cross the finish line when you're playing against, legends of the game or people who you've idolized and respected, and you see that passing of the torch so many times. But like Savannah she's just different, man. I feel like, it's not that she's a great story, which she is, but her game is tough, right? Her game is solid.
Look, Jenny Ann says it in the comments. Thanks for the comment. She's got a great supportive family around her. They get her to events. They're there for her during the events, cheering her on. She's never alone. You know what I mean? So she leaves this event in Iowa. I think she's in Georgia now. I think I saw at a junior event out there. So, I mean, she's getting all kinds of seasoning. She does like the homeschool thing or the online school.
Yeah.
And so this is her passion and she's just getting better and better. And it's going to be fun to watch. And yeah, I think Pinozo's kind of right. I think maybe at 15, we might see her reach a final, semifinals, like start knocking on the door, and if she's listening or she hears this, I don't want her to be discouraged thinking, oh, it's going to be 3 more years before I win one of these big. You're going to win plenty of pool tournaments.
Yeah,
but we're talking about beating the Allisons and the Kellys and the, Christinas and the top players.
She had Kelly on the ropes in one Predator event, already. Yeah. And I listen, I think that I'm just saying, I think that 3 years is realistic, but I would not be surprised if it's any sooner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't at all.
Just so you know how the progression works, yes, she might beat Kelly in a match, right? but then she'll end up getting knocked out in the quarterfinals, or knocked out in the final 8 or final 16. Then she'll beat Kelly and another good player, and then she'll get knocked out, right? And then all of a sudden, now she's in the semifinals, and then she comes up a little short. But then one tournament, she puts it all together. That's what she needs, that one tournament. And I'm saying that's going to take a little bit of time, right? Knocking off one player in one match is completely different from winning 5 quality matches against top professionals to win a tournament. That's going to take a little time.
No, I mean, I agree. But listen, talk to any top player, male or female, they have to they'll tell you that a lot of things got to come together in order for you to win an event. You got to get the roles, you got to get lucky. I mean, the stars have to align, and it's no different with her. But it also has to be paired with a great temperament, a great mental game, and a solid pool game. She checks off all those boxes in my book. She really does, and I would not be surprised. And I feel like we're going to continue to see, and we're fortunate, because of our Facebook page and everything that's being streamed, that we get to watch a lot of these matches. I mean, I was there, in Vegas watching her beat Carolyn Powell in a shootout. Now, wasn't the prettiest of finishes, but she got there, with a huge crowd around, and everywhere you look, that girl's just got fans all over the place. And it's hard when you're under that microscope to be playing pool and then have expectations from you, and then to be able to handle that pressure. I feel like it's going to pay off in her pool game, and we're already starting to see it. I say, look out, because that girl's coming, and I mean coming quick.
Yeah, and I don't want to beat a dead horse about the family support, but that's huge, man. I see it in the soccer world. The kid comes off the field, he had a tough game, and he got a tear in his eye, and I got my arm around him. It's okay, man. You're a good player. Don't worry. You had a rough game, whatever. And I see the same thing with her. When she struggles, she's not like one of these, 20, 25-year-olds going back to their hotel room crying by themselves. She's got a family there to kind of lift her up and support her and say, hey, you're going to get this. Hang in there. I think that's really important. So I'm excited what we're going to see out of her. But you know what I'm more excited for? I'm more excited for the March Madness Battle of the Brands. Okay?
Boom, son.
Yeah, let's do it. March Madness Battle of the Brands. If you guys haven't seen it, you can go to digitalpool.com. You can go to their events tab. We got all our brackets up there. It shows you kind of the status of where we are. But also, you can go to this website that I'm about to post in here if I'm allowed to. Let me see. And this website is where you can go and do your voting on these brackets and see. And so I'll show you here, we have the top or the final 32. We're down to the Sweet 16 already. And there's a bunch of voting in here, so let's check it out. Let's share the screen.
We're going to be down to the Sweet 16.
No, we're down to the Sweet 16, aren't we?
We're at 32.
No, we're at 32, Joe.
I'm dogging it. Glad this is called dogging it.
That's all right. So if you guys want to learn how to do this and how this works, if you want to do a little test run, just go to this page, scroll down to the Billiards Digest, hit vote. And then you'll see how it works.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Low Chris is in here complaining that he lost a brutal game in the first round. Low Chris, this is all your fault, man. You have 95,000 YouTube subscribers. The fact that you couldn't get like 200 votes to win that match.
You got 19 votes, Chris. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Okay. All right, so let's look at the matchups here. We got Red Door Den versus Pool is Not Dead. Very tight matchup right here. I haven't refreshed in a while. Should I refresh? Should I chance it?
Yeah,
let's refresh and see the votes.
Let's see what the votes are.
Yeah, that's pretty close, 93 to 100.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, I did refresh, so I guess nobody's voted.
93 to 100, yeah.
Since we started this show. But we got Pool is Not Dead, the Facebook site, against Red Door Den, 100 to 93 so far. So if you got support for one of these, you can only vote once unless you're doing it on your mobile device. And then
I like that. Yeah, only vote once.
Yeah, the next matchup, we got AZ Billiards against Fargo Rate. Tough matchup right here.
Yeah.
97-95 right now. Who do you like in this one, Pinozzo?
What's AZ's Fargo rating?
Huh?
What's AZ's Fargo rating?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Their popularity comes in waves.
AZ Billiards is the 5th seed. Fargo Rate's the 4th seed.
Wow, that should be a tight match.
Yeah, certainly.
It's been a lot of chalk, except APA loses to one pocket. Red Door Den takes down Matchroom.
Well, Melina, the reason that it is because we're masterful at creating these seeds. So That's why
did a
it
You
good
don't
seems
know.
like
job.
there's
Listen, it was a tough job going through everyone, and just me and Joey are just arguing. I think they should be here. They should be there. Joey's campaigning one way and the other. Then we're taking what me and Joey created. Then we're showing Mike, hey, what do you think? And we're trying to be as fair as we can. Um, it was a lot of fun though. It really
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
All right, let's go down to the next one. Hustling USA and Masters Chalk. Masters is up 107 to 85. I kind of 108 to 86. People are voting. I love it. I'm kind of surprised by this result not because Masters isn't a quality brand, but because you got to take it for granted, right? It's in every pool room in the country. You go and you
We
use it.
almost left them off.
We
They
almost did.
almost
We
got
almost
left off.
forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hustling's been around forever. The video I posted yesterday of me playing pool 14 years ago, I was wearing a hustling shirt. So I'm a little surprised that their following hasn't come out and supported them a little harder. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, next one, WPBA against CSI League. CSI Leagues came in as a number 2 seed and WPBA the number 7 seed. So this is playing out with the chalk, but WPBA is actually up on CSI Leagues now, 105 to 88. You guys think they're going to take that one home?
89.
89. This is like live scoring. It's amazing.
It is.
Let's just stay live all day and watch the votes add up.
It's like a Chicago election. This is the best.
Okay, you guys got no picks here? I'm just gonna read all these off and you guys are not gonna say a word?
Well, I mean, it's associations and league systems. So, whoever's getting the word out to their followers should be making big leaps, right?
The WPBA almost got left off of here too. People don't know. I think it was me. I had to convince Joey to put him in.
That's not true.
That is 100% true.
I love the ladies.
Either them or BCA, right, Mike?
Like who did I tell? I told Shane Tyree. I said, listen, the Predator wreck got voted in before the WPA did. So
that's messed up. I can't believe you said that. That's terrible. All right, the next matchup, Brutal Game Gear, coming off their awesome upset of Venom's YouTube. Venom must have been sleeping there because there's no way with his following that he was supposed to lose. But he loses to Brutal Game Gear, who also beat Lil Chris, who's watching right now in the first round. And so they're facing off against Davini Q's. Did you misspell Davini?
Look at the hat, son. I don't think so.
Oh, I must have misspelled it on the original bracket.
What a shock. Yeah, what a shock.
All right. So we got a close one here, but Brutal Game. I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with Brutal Game's following. To knock off Little Chris in the first round and knock off Venom in the second round. And now they're in a position to beat Davini here in the third round. It's going to take them through to the Sweet 16.
Well, I like all these groups and brands saying, hey, they're calling their army on. Come vote for us, and all their players, they got sponsored and all the shares.
I called my army out and I got like 2 likes.
Yeah.
Fuck?
Yeah. No, but it's been fun, man. And listen, I talked to Joey about this.
Family. What the hell?
I talked to Joey and Mike about this. I want to do something like this, but with rooms. So get maybe 32 of the best rooms in the country, let's start seeding them. And then we'll see if if they can call their own people out to put some votes and we'll make it fun.
All right, the next matchup, this one breaks my heart. We were 98 to 98 a minute ago, and 2 people just went in and voted for AccuStats.
So they got the link. Hold on a minute. Time out. They got the link from our show, and then they go vote for someone else.
It tells you about what they think about the show right now.
Well, in fairness,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
AccuStats was the 5th seed, and we're the 13th seed, I believe. So for us to make it this far is pretty impressive. So,
you refreshed and they're like rolling on you now.
Yeah, 101 to 98. We're only 3 points behind. We can pull this out, Mike. If anybody wants to go in and vote for us and support us.
Not surprisingly, Digital Pool's got a lot of support in the next
year. Look at Digital Pool. And you know what? Let me say something about Digital Pool. Super cool. As soon as he saw that we were doing this, he said, let's get the brackets up and put them on Digital Pool. And sure enough, if you go to digitalpool.com under events, it's broken down in each of the regions, but you can get in there and see we're updating. As soon as this is over, we'll go in and update the Digital Pool brackets, and you guys will be able to see that. So,
and by the way, Digital Pool offered up a free month of advertising for whoever the winner is as well. So
that's super awesome.
For whatever brand that wins. So just more incentive for you guys. If this is your business or if you support any of these guys, go and show them some love and hit the share button. campaign for him. We're trying to make it fun, and it was all Joey's idea, you know. So Joey loves getting credit, along with his amazing camera. So Joey, we appreciate
Thank
all
you.
your hard work, buddy.
Thank you. Digital pool is actually almost what would that be? 2-1, 3-1 over Southwest Q's. So if you're a big Southwest fan, you better get over there and show some love, or they're getting knocked out in the second round. Next matchup, JB Cases and US Pro Billiard Series. We got a close one here. JB Cases in the lead right now, 110-96 over US Pro Billiard Series. Interesting matchup. You got a case company that's very well thought of, makes a high quality case. A lot of people have them. And then you got the really one of the top promoters or top billiard series out there, putting tons of money into the pro events. It's a Predator CSI partnership there. So not surprised it's a close match. It'll be interesting to see who pulls that one out.
Yeah, I mean, John's the gold standard when it comes to case making. Everyone knows we've seen the U.S. Pro Billiard Series and all the things that they do. It's interesting. I bet you if they got a share on their page, they would probably get a lot of love. But it's interesting to see where the votes are currently.
Hey, one of the comments. Greg Hogan in the comments is asking if it's single elimination. Yeah, it's single elimination, buddy.
The finals is going to be an extended race to 13. So.
Greg wants a rebuy. You're not feeling too good about Red Door right now? Red Door Den?
No, he's smoking it today.
Actually, Greg, your folks have been showing a lot of love, a lot of support on here.
I said they would beat Matchroom in that first round. I said it.
Yeah, that was quite an upset there. One PKT against Cue It Up Network, and one PKT, Mike's company, is struggling right now. Cue It Up Network. Look, one PKT is coming off
harder than Dom. Okay, let's just be real. Nate's been.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what that's what makes this fun. Get out there and stump.
Look, one PKT beats Tsunami Shafts in the play-in game and then knocks off the APA, the biggest pool league in America, in the first round, actually. And now they are losing to Cue It Up Network.
Yeah, they left it on the court.
What is it, Mike? Whenever it's the after you win a big game and the next one it's a trap game or emotional letdown, or what's it called? Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody just brought up a good point. Wait a minute. Yeah, digital
like Michigan
pool.
State.
Hey, someone in the comments just brought up a great point, which is Isaac from Digital Pool is a Southwest collector, and he's got to face off against Southwest. So it's kind of interesting. All right.
I got the same problem.
Moving along, we got Pool Action TV versus Jam Up. Jam Up is getting beat here. I saw Stephanie in here a minute ago. We got to get Jam Up some love. They got 82 votes. Pool Action TV, one of the top streamers around, 120 votes, Ray Hansen. So are you surprised by this, Melina?
No. And listen, 40 votes is nothing. If Dom and Shark showed us anything, it's that all it takes is a little bit of begging and a good social media that it can swing real fast. So 40 votes is nothing to make up. And you guys still got, I think, what time is it now? It's 12. So you got about 8 hours to vote, or 9 hours to vote, roughly.
Yeah, and Pool Action TV is the 5 seed. Jam Up was a 4 seed in the East bracket, so kind of expected to see these guys face off. And then the Battle of the Chalks, Town versus Kamui. Town was a 6 seed, and Kamui was a 3 seed. And it looks like the 6 seed is positioning for the upset here, 117 votes to 87 votes.
We spy a miscue on Kamui here.
That's funny.
Look, Isaac chimed in. He said, "I love Southwest Q's, but we got this." The next matchup: Billiards Digest versus Q-Tech and Panozzo. What have you? In all seriousness, Panozzo. In all seriousness, what have you been doing to kind of rally the troops behind Billiards Digest here?
Not a damn thing. Q-Tech's one of my biggest advertisers. I'm taking a dive.
The problem is that Mike's got a conflict of interest for sure. So
I know where my bread's buttered.
So just a recap
Thank you, Jenny Ann, for voting for me, anyways.
Just a recap: Billiards Digest knocked off 3 seconds in the first round, and Q-Tech took down Jay Flowers. And it looks like Q-Tech's going to be cruising here in this round. So
I'm just going to say, Q-Tech has had a soft draw. All right, Q-Tech's had a real soft draw. I'm just going to put that out there. All right.
So wait a minute. So if Q-Tech wins this one, they're going to likely advance either Taum or Kamui That should be a good matchup there as well.
Town for the win.
Okay.
And then you've got Sharks live stream. It's the Filipino voting machine.
Look at
I'm
this.
telling you, man, they show some
every other
love.
matchup has about 200 total votes. This matchup has 360. So
what are you insinuating, Mike? What are you insinuating, Mike?
I'm insinuating we got some corruption going on out there in the Philippines.
They're just going in. They're voting for the one thing they care about. Okay, Sharks live stream. But look, they're positioned to take down Predator right now. And what we saw when Sharks and Dunsky's Dungeon went at it was we saw the effect of the time of day, right? Yeah. So, Dunsky, Dominic wakes up early in the morning. He's trailing by a lot. He rallies the troops. He takes the lead. And then all of a sudden the Filipinos wake up and boom, it's over.
Done. Yeah. I just think it's impressive that Predator's got 144 votes. That would be winning every other category. Every other matchup, that would be winning. And they're down by like almost 100.
Well, look, I mean, they're one of the biggest companies in the game. So if you love Predator, get out and get your vote in against Sharks live stream. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
Next matchup, we got Charivari, 73 votes, and Cyberts, 125 votes. So good matchup there. Completely different businesses. One does the training videos on YouTube. The other, Billiard Supply. They've sponsored a show. Awesome company there. So it looks like they're probably going to advance here unless we see a big push coming from Charivari. Simonis versus Omega TV. This one's an interesting matchup, but pretty lopsided right now. It's a little bit surprising to me. Simonis, obviously the gold standard in terms of cloth. They're the number 3 seed, but Omega TV's had quite a bit of support over the last few years. A lot of big matchups. They're trailing right now, though, by 158 to 46. What do you guys think on this one? Any chance Omega comes back?
No.
Negative.
All right. Thanks for the awesome color commentary.
Yeah, do you want us to delve into the reasons, or
no? That's good enough. And then the final matchup,
it's setting up for a great Sweet 16 matchup between Simonis and Diamond.
That's true. And so it's looking that way because Diamond's up on Jacoby Q's 164 to 45. Now, we saw Jacoby make a run in their last matchup, I believe, against Onboard, and really had a good push there to win that one soundly. But Diamond is really a tough foe here. So just out of curiosity, with some of the names that you've heard, what are you guys thinking in terms of maybe a Final Four here?
Ooh,
what do you say, Mike?
Final Four. Let's see. I'd have to look at the brackets.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No.
Listen, let me tell you something. Diamond for the win. Diamond's taking this thing home.
The whole thing?
Diamond's winning it all. Diamond's going to burn through Jacoby, Simonis, and everything else. Diamond for
but who else is in the Final Four?
Well, I mean, you got to figure Sharks is for sure going to be in the Final Four. They may be the only ones capable of taking down
that would
Diamond,
be in the semis.
Well, yeah, Melina, you're not even looking at the brackets because Sharks.
That would be in the semis.
Sharks and Diamond can't make the Final Four.
I'm going off my eye check, boys. All right, like I always say, my eye test.
All right,
no, they would play. They would play in the Elite 8.
Diamond, Q-Tech.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Diamond, Q-Tech.
Cue it up.
Dogging it.
Doggin may not make it out the round, Joe.
And
Master
Shock. You know this is live, right, boys?
I'm going to go with Hustling USA. There you go.
No way. Who's in that hustling bracket?
CSI Leagues, Red Door Den, Pool's Not Dead, AZ Billiards, Fargo Rate.
Yeah.
I like Red Door Den.
And the bottom brackets are more loaded for sure.
Yeah. Who seeded this, man? It was a terrible job of seeding, by the way.
Whatever, man. We seeded this
because a couple number ones went down real fast.
Look. And, all the favorites are winning. It opens it up. All the favorites are winning, which means we seeded this perfectly. We got a couple upsets sprinkled in. The committee sat down. They analyzed all the brands. It took quite a while, but we came up with this.
What we need to do next year is that when we do this, when people get left out, we need to have Joey go out there and face the ridicule, right? and then just go out there and explain the committee's reasoning for leaving off some of these top brands.
Hey, who was the brand that we got beat up the most on? Do you guys know?
BCA.
BCA, huh? WPA, Post Up.
Post Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one where I think we definitely dogged it because they've gathered quite a following and quite a reputation, and they're doing some cool things.
I told you this. I said Post Up when we were having the discussion. 1,000%.
You did say it, and then Charles you also said no.
Charles Lakey.
I think you said put Eddie Cohen in there and put Post
because
Up
Joey had a big emphasis on making sure that it was all spread out within the industry, that we didn't have too many production cue makers, we didn't have too many custom cue makers, we didn't have too many tournaments. He wanted to have it nice and even so everyone got participation trophies, didn't want to hurt any feelings, okay? And I was the one that said, hey, listen, some of these guys need to be in there. So, yeah.
If I look at it, I'm looking at, the custom cue guys, and they're all getting beat. And they all got beat in the last round. Yeah. So it's like they're like the Ivy League.
It's more
Mike,
niche,
of course, you would say that, Mike, because the production cue companies sponsor Billiards Digest. So you got you got a stake in that fire, Mike.
Well, they have all the following, and so Doug Who in here says, "What's the first place payout?"
It's just like the NCAA. You get a trophy.
No. He's talking about for the Chinese 8-ball tournament.
Oh, so. Is he not paying attention to our show? We haven't talked Chinese 8-ball once. We're talking about the March Madness brackets.
The Chinese 8-ball payout is $750,000 for first. By the way,
jeez,
$750,000 for first.
Who made the trip over?
$750,000 what? Yen?
U.S. No, U.S. U.S.
Who made the trip over? Do you know?
Mostly just like Melling and those kind of guys.
Yeah.
There were mostly Europeans and UK guys, right?
I don't really know how to say this, but I play good 8-ball.
It's called Hayball next year.
That's his best game. In case you guys didn't know,
it's called Hayball.
Yeah.
Maybe Billiards Digest can put me in that event next year.
Yeah, sure.
Pull some strings. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, listen, guys, if you haven't voted, you can look in the description of the video. There's the link to go vote. Also, go to digitalpool.com. Check out the brackets. We're going to be updating them as soon as voting closes. When does voting close on this round, Mike?
9 p.m. tonight, and then we're going to have the final 16 up later on this evening, so you guys can go and vote. We're going to run through it.
Looking for anybody to vote for. There's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Well, yeah, Mike's got no shit.
Hey, listen, I've got nothing on Dom, so as long as Dom's out there, everything I do looks soft.
Oh man! Well,
go check out Windows Open to find the links. We'll share them throughout the day as well on all of our social media pages to get some more push. I'm gonna make a post. I want to get you guys' favorite rooms, and we're gonna start a 32-man bracket just to have some fun and see where the love is at. So go ahead, Joey.
No, I was just going to say thanks for joining. Check out patreon.com/Doggin if you'd like to support us. We got videos on there, exclusive content, things like that. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.